Free agency spending is going crazy. We got trades going all over the place. 2 X's for 2 first-round picks. That's a swap between Vegas and Baltimore. But the big news, just wait a second. Alex Monaco is back, baby. So we recorded a whole episode of Martin and Monaco, and then all of a sudden the Ravens and the Raiders were like, never mind. We're not going to do the Maxx Crosby trade. We're going to send back our 2 first-round picks. We don't like what we see in that knee. The reports coming out just a few moments ago that Maxx Crosby failed his Baltimore physical, which it's Tuesday, March 10th as we have this conversation. I was of the belief that physicals happened on Wednesday. I thought physicals happened tomorrow. So I'm surprised to hear that he could possibly fail his physical the day before physicals and contracts are supposed to be signed and done. However, nonetheless, the news is out there, and if we treated it like gospel and he was headed that way, we have to treat it like gospel, as the same people are saying he is not headed that way. And so the impact of this massively unfolding. So the breakdown, Maxx Crosby, the Raiders have been operating over the last 48 hours as if Maxx Crosby's contract was no longer on the books. So have the Baltimore Ravens. That's how you end up with Tyler Linderbaum becoming, again, reportedly, because by the time you hear this, he may not be anymore.
Who knows?
He may not be anymore, but that's how he ends up getting all that guaranteed money and blowing Creed Humphrey's money out of the water because the Raiders had the cap space that they had for Maxx Crosby off, quote unquote, of the books. Well, that money is back on the books, no quotes. It's owed. So now they're going to have to figure out how they're going to either. They have an agreement with Linderbaum, so maybe they can adjust it. But again, this is a very fluid situation. The one thing that we do know is as of right now, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on Tuesday, March 10th, Maxx Crosby is just as much as a Raider as he was when he recorded that video shooting basketball in the back of his house, week 17.
Dude, what a mess. What a mess, right? Like, he has already gotten on his podcast to address Raider Nation and say how he feels, I let you guys down, I'm so sorry, and you'll always have a special place in my heart, but from here on out, it's Ravens flock, let's fly, whatever. All this has happened. What an awkward situation. And also, like you were alluding to with Tyler Linderbaum and how much money the Raiders already owe him, they've been operating all throughout free agency like they're not going to have Maxx Crosby's money on the books, like you mentioned. Now they are going to have his money on the books, presumably, unless some other team decides to swoop in. Maybe that's a whole nother dimension. Maybe someone else comes in and saves the day here. Gives them.
That's what this is. Again, this news broke about 10 minutes ago, and there's so many thoughts right now. This is insane. Ate some chips and then hopped on here with you. So I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't seen this anywhere, but I do know this happened. Rashawn Gary was traded in agreement from the Packers to the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys were reportedly this close on both Maxx Crosby and Nakobe Dean, right? Nakobe Dean apparently Cowboys offered him more money, and Nakobe Dean, former Philadelphia Eagle linebacker, chose to go to Las Vegas instead of Dallas. Okay? Maxx Crosby and the Cowboys and the Raiders were deep in talks, and apparently the sticking point was we don't want to give up 2 first-round picks. We'll give you a first and a second-round pick. I'm of the belief that because it is today, Tuesday, March 10th, and not the next day of the league year, right? I think this is what happened. I think that they knew the Raiders and Ravens, the medicals are out there. There's nothing that they found in this physical that is not already known, in my belief. I think this is what happened. I think the Ravens got a little gun shy and said, we don't want to give you 2 first-round picks. We want to back down on the compensation a bit.
What's that say about the Ravens, though? Like, they've always been such a well-run organization. If they're at the point now where you can, make a huge decision like that for the future of your franchise, trading for a guy like Maxx Crosby, and then back out days later when free agency has started and both teams have been signing people and rearranging your rosters. This is just such a freaking mess right now. There's so many ways that this can affect different things. Because can they even still pay Nakobe Dean the amount of money that they were going to? Can they still pay Linderbaum the amount of money they were going to? Do the Ravens now want to pay Linderbaum because they don't have to pay Maxx Crosby now? There's so many angles to this that just make it such a cluster F.
Do the Cowboys send the Packers say thanks but no thanks?
Do they get involved?
The deal? Because that's what I'm saying. Let me to put a whatever.
Sorry, I totally cut you off in the middle of it.
Because I think they got nervous about the compensation, right? Because that's the type of stuff that's still getting hammered out, right? We know the top line stuff, but it's the bottom line stuff that we're still figuring out. The asterisks, right? That's still getting figured out, and in this legal tampering period, something came up in that Baltimore wasn't comfortable with, right? Whether it was Max wanting an extension or to me, this is not about physical. This is about money. Even though they failed the physical, it's about the money and the compensation, whether it be picks or cash or cap back, whatever it is. To me, that's what I see. I think Maxx Crosby is going to be on the field week 1 this year. Do you know what I'm saying? This is not an Odell Beckham where he's failing his physicals because his knees no good right now. I don't think that's the case. I think Crosby is going to be on the field week 1 for wherever he plays, and I think the compensation got ugly, and that opens up so many more things. So just to put my pin on it, Maxx Crosby, I think here are my takes. Crosby will be on the field week 1 somewhere. I think that somewhere has a decent shot of being Baltimore. I'd give it right now. Baltimore would be if I was just listing favorites. I'd have Baltimore up there. I'd have Dallas up there. I'd have Buffalo up there. I would have Chicago up there. I have those 4 schools. I still would have those 4 teams as
So you still think it can get done with Baltimore? This isn't them saying, okay, we're actually out of the Maxx Crosby thing entirely?
Well, here's the thing.
Why would they still be involved? They had him.
There's so much, because the only reason I would say I think it comes down to the compensation. I think that if the Ravens and Raiders, because again, this is 2 relatively young staffs, right? The Raiders, Baltimore's GM has been established for quite some time, but you're looking at first year everything, like we outlaid earlier today. So. And now in Las Vegas, you're looking at second year everything, right? Except for first year head coach, but second year infrastructure and everything. These are guys that are kind of I'm not trying to take a shot at anybody, but they're new to this, right? They're figuring this out along the way, and I think that there is a possibility when you look at the way the Ravens have been moving this, they're better. They want him. Do you know what I'm saying? I think they want him, and the Raiders want to get off of him. So there's a deal to be done. And if Baltimore comes back with the best deal, whatever that number is, because now the whole NFL just saw this, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the price is going to be. But Maxx Crosby is going to be traded this offseason. He's going to pass a physical. I really believe that.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna break it all down on next week's episode once there's plenty of more details that have come out about this, and maybe he'll even have a new home by that point. But we just had to get this out there just to
get I was Trey
some kind of reaction.
If I'm Trey Hendrickson, I would be pissed, bro. I would be so mad. I finally thought my market was set. I finally figured I could slide in somewhere. No.
Yeah. You said on the episode earlier, as everyone will see later on in the show here, that your prediction was that Buffalo ends up overpaying for Trey Hendrickson. But now Buffalo can get back involved in Maxx Crosby if they want. Right. I don't know if they can afford it, but it's an option because he's not going to Baltimore as we stand here or sit here right now.
You got to love the passive-aggressive press release from the Raiders staff. The Baltimore Ravens have rescinded our deal. That's what makes me think it's compensation, bro. The Ravens know that everybody in America, everyone in football America knows that Maxx Crosby had knee surgery this summer. Everybody knows. So from there, the free agent signing heard around the world. As John Eric Sullivan teased it at the combine, he said, if you're a QB needy team and you're not in the Malik Willis business, then you're lying to yourself. there were reports that Malik Willis was going to get $45 million on the open market, which I said, you know what, yeah, and I'll go to the moon. What he ended up getting, though, Ian, from the Miami Dolphins to be their next starting quarterback was what?
Yeah, so the Dolphins just signed Malik Willis to a 3-year, $67.5 million contract. So it's a little over $22 million a year as the annual value.
It's a nice NBA bag right there for a guy that's fourth guy off the pine. No, I'm just kidding. It's NBA money, NFL money is fun to compare sometimes, but I'm not that upset. It's not in the 30s for goodness sake. I would have started to throw up. I mean, in the early 20s is still gross out loud, but I guess if Tua, Herbert, and Lawrence are in the 50s, I can live with Malik Willis getting 22, gentlemen.
So I live with Malik Willis getting 22 as well. That is what I feel like the market demands. When Justin Fields signed last year, 2 for $40? So that's a $20 million right there. Okay, about a $2 million bump on Justin Fields, because if we're all being honest with one another, I've seen every snap just about of Malik Willis's pro career. I know I've seen every snap of Malik Willis as a Packer because it's only been a handful. Now, it makes you feel good that like the GM and the defensive coordinator from the Packers, they went down to Miami, and they're now the head coach and front office player and whatever. They know him. They were in practice with him. They all saw him every single day. So you like that. It's not exactly like you're buying the used car off of the lot. This is more like you're buying the used car from your grandmother who didn't drive it that much, and you know that you know what I mean? Like, it's in good shape, so you don't feel too bad about spending a little bit more on it. However, it is still Malik Willis, where we're like, at no point have I felt that Malik Willis has shown that he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL for 17 games.
But Martin, it's not just Malik Willis in Miami. It's Malik Willis in Miami with Jeff Hafley, who's brand new, and their GM, which the John Eric Sullivan guy. There's a completely new regime. So it's interesting. This is Tyreek Hill exiting. They were already a unique club where like Tyreek Hill was a pseudo leader who was the leader. McDaniel had coordinator energy. Oh, look where we are in 2026. He's a coordinator, yada, yada. It's such a reset, but it's not like he's coming into anything close to what he was best flourishing in, which was a great system, great coaching, and great infrastructure in LaFleur and a Green Bay Packers locker room. So remains to be seen. I'm not going to lie, not to bounce around, but I can't wait to get Ian's thoughts on Geno Smith on the full circle back to the Jets.
Yeah, we will. We're going to touch on Geno before we end the show, because that news was just news, honestly. As somebody who has no rooting interest and just kind of like roots for chaos, definitely put a smile on my face. But I'd say with the Malik Willis and the Dolphins thing, another thing that's interesting, they're willing to eat $99 million in dead cap to send Tua packing, right? I think that is something that we can't overlook, right? When we're looking at these guys who are coming in the honeymoon phase, right? They're coming in the honeymoon phase of the job, and they are incurring NFL record dead money cap hits. It's almost, to me, similar to when you get guys who trade for draft picks as like the hope, right? A lot of bad GMs will break down, like the Jets right now. No, not to choose Ian too tough, but the Jets, they trade Quentin Williams, they trade Sauce Gardner to get all these picks. Why? Because picks represent hope, right? Picks represent an unknown value that could be the next Hall of Famer. It could be this. The dead cap situation almost feels like the same thing, because they come in and say, we're going to take $70 million in dead cap Russell Wilson, $99 million in dead cap Tua Tagovailoa, and if we start to win games in years 1 and 2, guess what? We will have the most cap space in the NFL in year 3, because we can sign, plug holes, and keep going. Broncos are in the AFC Championship game this year. So I do think that's something we can't overlook.
It's good point. It's just the price of resetting a culture. There is no price you cannot not pay to this exact example for a reset. They got to eat what they got to eat in Denver because it's a reset of culture. Same thing with Halfley and the Dolphins. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to weigh in on that really quick because to me this is just like it's a whatever I'm looking for a word that's like the opposite of encouraging. Like this is like a discouraging start to me for the Miami, the new regime, because you see, obviously you mentioned that record dead cap hit. No team in NFL history has ever paid a player that much money to not play for them. And you add in the fact that they also just signed Malik Willis to a big contract. Yes, it was cheaper than the rumored $30 million he was going to be getting, but it's still upwards of $20 million. You're paying your quarterback a lot of money here.
What are they paying a quarterback $70 million this year? If you combine the two?
That if you combine the two, you're actually paying your quarterback a ton of money this year in a complete reset rebuilding year. Like, and there were rumors that Geno Smith wanted to play for Miami. Like he would have been open to that option. Not that, he necessarily would have chosen that definitively, but the fact that you would have been getting a Geno Smith for like the veteran minimum, or a Kyler Murray if you wanted to go into that business for the veteran minimum, when you're also paying Tua that much to not play for you, it just feels like such a weird way to start the regime. But again, if he ends up being good, then it won't matter. Like if Malik Willis is good,
is it to throw it to that thought? Is it the difference in being well run for a very long time in Denver and not being well run for a very long time in Miami? Denver can recover from Russell Wilson on this smaller number, but same scenario. Miami can't because it's Miami. It's dysfunction.
Well, as of now, but we'll see. Like maybe the new regime isn't dysfunctional. Like they have a chance to prove us wrong here. All I'm saying is that just omens wise, this is a bad one for me.
You know what though?
Well, at least they didn't pay Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be. I think it'll be without knowing the contract. That third year can't have guaranteed money. Like I think it's going to be very similar to the Justin Fields deal. Just add an extra year on it in incentives, right? Because that's how you were able to get the. He signed 2 for $40 last year, and they're like, yeah, you're a free agent, buddy. We're going to go ahead and cut you. I could see Miami doing something similar to that. However, let's pivot to the next one because now we have 2 lefties in Atlanta. Tua Tagovailoa is reportedly going to sign a 1-year deal near the league minimum to go and compete with Michael Penix. And would you say that this is a quarterback competition, or is this somebody's got to start?
First of all, as a left-handed person, I'm a little offended. They're just lumping the lefties together. I mean, I am so offended by this. It's not even funny. Like we just had historic numbers that I had to go look up and ChatGPT of the last time Penix and Tua lefty on lefty happened, and it was a very long time. But in all seriousness, I don't know, man. I mean, it's discouraging because Penix has optimism, but he has such a health issue. He's like an old young man. And then you have this Cousins scenario, obviously, that just cap-wise wasn't wonderful to throw in the mix. It's if it's one thing, it's confusing. And I don't think it makes him better. It would have been interesting to see Tua go to maybe even somewhere like New Orleans. Even if he ended up sitting behind your guy Tyler, just because it's somewhere less crowded. So it's a crowded quarterback room, Martin.
Yeah, so I think that I don't listen. If you're in the Michael Penix business, it's not bad business to be in the Tua business because there is such a difference between lefty quarterbacks and righty quarterbacks. But like to the point, if I'm Tua, I'm actually just from Tua's side of things, cool. Like you'll probably be on the bench for a while. Like, I personally think it's time for Tua Tagovailoa to be an offensive coordinator. But, like, that's where I would go if I were him because, obviously he's one hit away. Everybody in the NFL is one hit away. And Tua, I'll put it like this. Every time my wife sees Tua on TV, she says, they still let that boy play? Like, I'm good with Tua being on the bench. But also, here's the nasty part about it. Michael Penix Jr. is injury-prone, too. Tua's going to have his shot. He's going to have his shot, but I will say the Stefanski Falcons organization, to me, is off to a rough.
He loves a Tua, though. He loves a Tua. This is a better version of Dylan Gabriel, another 5'8", 5'9", organized lefty that can run a system. It's exhausting. And, I guess for Falcons receivers, it's a little nice to be catching balls from lefties only to get in the minutia of it because, lefty righty is a little less. It's not baseball. We're not catchers here on a 162 game schedule. So we're not going from catching lefties to righties in practice. Lefty's a little nicer there. But again, doesn't make anybody better. Doesn't really move the sell any papers either. To your point, Martin, it's like, geez, this guy's safety is most important, but maybe he's safe second string.
So, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, walks from Seattle, 3 years, $45 million. The guarantees last I saw were not reported, which I find fascinating. I cannot wait to see how much guaranteed money that he got. But it is one of the bigger free agent running back signings in NFL history. Now,
Huge.
Do you know how many touchdowns Kenneth Walker had in the regular season last year?
Man, because Sharbs was such a goal line monster, I'd say 9. I'll say 9. 9 touchdowns.
Cut it in half.
Including receiving?
Oh, I believe the number for receiving was 0.
Oh, my gosh. He had 5 touchdowns?
I'm not saying that Kenneth Walker is a bad player, but I'm saying this. This is my take on what it is, and Ian was on the same thing, and when you're telling that Todd McShay sees it, I'm like, okay, well, we're probably in the same boat. And I forget what the number was for ATN, but here's what I know that those teams think is true. They must think that Jeremiah Love is going in the top 7, if not 5, in this upcoming draft. Because there is no way on earth you'd rather pay Kenneth Walker, who in a timeshare last year, for the majority of his career, had more touchdowns in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. Salute to you, Super Bowl MVP, but still, let's be real here. You'd rather pay Kenneth Walker $14 million a year than Jeremiah Love on a rookie deal? You'd rather pay Travis Etienne $8 million a year than Jeremiah Love on a rookie deal? That means to me,
Great point.
get out of here.
Oh,
Okay.
I was way off.
Right.
Was
Get
it 50?
out of there.
Is it 4-year
Okay.
52? I maybe saw the ticker with a 5. I didn't want to say it. Oh my god.
So there you go. You're not telling me, here, you could pick it up back in here. You're not telling me that the Kansas City wants to pay Kenneth Walker $14 million a year, that New Orleans wants to pay Travis Etienne $13 million a year, and not have Jeremiah Love on a rookie contract. They think that he is going to be gone, 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 before they pick.
Oh, he's gone. I mean, how fast the tides turn, gentlemen. I mean, oh my gosh. A couple years ago, before Saquon absolutely cooked, let's not forget, everyone was petrified to pay top dog. Now we're overpaying for Kenneth Walker, who, let's just call it what it is, got extra shine on a cast he was an ensemble of because Charbonnet went down. He had to get the more looks. Kansas City, though, it's twofold, has been really, I don't want to say swing and miss completely, but they're on Hunt Act 9. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a bust. Pacheco was supposed to work, and now he's a Lion playing backup to Gibbs, which doesn't really make a ton of sense because Montgomery makes way more of a fit there. But yeah, yada, yada. I just think twofold. Bought high from a Kansas City perspective because they have a low self-esteem in the skills position department. They don't have a lot to hang their hat on.
Also worth mentioning, dude, that Walker's been injury prone. Like, there was a reason that they had Charbonnet there as the number 2 guy, carrying so much of the load, just because Kenneth Walker is known for being a guy who does not regularly play all 17 games.
I do not. I know right now today most Chiefs fans are probably celebrating, and I don't, in a vacuum, hate the move. But when I look at, to your point, all of the skill position misses in the Patrick Mahomes era, and I look at, and sure, Travis Kelce is if his name was Travis Smith, would we consider him a top 10 tight end? He's like, man, yeah, that guy's just really slow. Right, so bringing him back, I don't have the biggest issue with it, especially when you look at his production and all of that type of stuff. But it is still like, dude, where are my impact players? Like, if you were like, where is Kenneth Walker? Do we feel like Kenneth Walker is really moving the needle on a game-to-game basis during the regular season, like Kansas City's running game needed it to? I'm not sure. I don't buy that, and especially I am worried with Kenneth Walker. I put it like this. I'm not at practice, so I don't know. Maybe in practice he's catching every screen pass. But I know in the games, they don't throw him the ball.
Yeah,
And
you
the
know,
Chiefs
this is
are
a
the
perfect
biggest
example.
The Chiefs are one of the biggest screen teams in the NFL.
That's a very good point. It's a perfect example of a team that missed the playoffs, that saw a team that, let's go steal a piece. There's pieces. It happens every time everybody wins a Super Bowl. A coach or two out of the coordinator position gets peeled off, and a piece or two during free agency goes and sells high. This is top shelf living for Kenneth Walker. He cashed out. He made $7 to $12 million more than he otherwise should have. But I mean, I don't know. Are you sitting here saying you would have rather paid 4 for 52 for ETN for Kansas City? I mean, I guess it's just a year or two different from shopping in this market at this position versus, where we were just a quick 24 months ago.
I would say I've always liked Travis Etienne's game. I just think like he is underrated back in the AFC to me. Now $13 million. You better be at the best of the best of the best, sir. But I always did like his game. I'm not thrilled at $13 million, but you got a rookie quarterback in New Orleans, so you can spend a little bit more than you'd like. Yeah. But I would say the bigger thing that I think too with this, you saw Ashton Jeanty go. So Ashton Jeanty was a top 10 pick last year in Vegas. You saw Saquon, obviously you touched on him, be it the second pick overall to the Giants. You talked also, too, about Gibbs, who was the 12th pick, I believe, in the first round by the Detroit Lions a few years ago. We are seeing teams revalue impact running backs, right? That you just can't miss on a running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Well, it's just next thing you know, you're in a position where the money's got to go somewhere on offense, and you end up paying how much for Jalen Waddle after you pay Tyreek Hill? I mean, you get very quickly swallowed up and cornered in this league if you don't continue to hit at least once at cornerstone pieces of your offense to support your quarterback. And Mahomes, again, is probably yelling at Veach like, guys, I miss the playoffs. Get me something. Get me a toy in the driveway. And Kenneth Walker is sitting there with terrible body language on Super Bowl parade day. Never seen an angrier, decorated Super Bowl champion MVP in my life.
We heard what the GM said on the microphone, so they can only imagine what he was saying off the microphone. I might have had a salty look on my face too. But speaking of franchise cornerstones and having salty looks on faces, Geno Smith and a 7th-round pick going from the Las Vegas Raiders to the New York Jets in return for a 6th-round pick. This is a classic. Out here, you take him. Okay, please. Anything you'd like to give me back, I'll take that. I'll say this, man. Geno Smith back. I'm shocked. I am shocked at the amount of people who do not remember that Geno Smith fractured his jaw in the Jets locker room. That's one of the first things I think of when I think of Geno Smith.
Wow, great memory.
And it's to show you that how people, it just goes to show you there's generations of people younger than me. But Geno Smith, back to the scene of the punch, Florham Park, New Jersey, where he broke his jaw, was out for 6 weeks. And I want to say, honestly, might have been the last time the Jets had a winning record. They finished that year 10-6 with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback for most of it. Geno becomes a backup, and he ends up going to Seattle. We know the story. He wins. They pick Darnold over him. Goes to Vegas. It's tough and it's rough in Vegas for 17 games. Now, he's gonna be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets is a fait accompli. He's going to start games for the Jets this year. That's a fact.
Can we get our producer slash Jets insider's thoughts before I weigh in, because
Jets X Factor.
it's deserving of the floor being yours, Ian, because the script writes itself of a Jet replacing a Jet in the Pacific Northwest, only to have a Jet return back to where he once was drafted because both are so desperate. They've dated around.
Yeah, it's
like
a full,
bad episode of Seinfeld
it's
with Elaine
a full
and
circle.
Cuddy.
It's a full circle thing, man. It's crazy because I think you are right, Martin, that was the last time the Jets finished with a winning record was when Geno was with them. But it's full terms of the trade, because it was a trade. The Jets are sending a 6th round pick this year to the Raiders in exchange for Geno and a 2026 7th rounder. So they're doing a swap there with late round picks, and then the Jets also get Geno. And worth noting here, Geno had $66 million left on his contract, I think, and the Raiders are going to be paying the majority of it to facilitate the trade. So the Jets are getting him for just over the vet minimum, which is the key part to me. That's why I really like this. Like, if they were paying him any sort of value contract here, then I would hate it, because he's coming off a year where he led the league in interceptions. So it's hard to get excited about that. But you have him for just over the veteran minimum, a guy who's a year or two removed from being a very serviceable starter. Even last year, he was serviceable as a starter. Yeah, like you had Chip Kelly as the OC. You had Pete Carroll. He got fired after a year. Like, it was not.
It's
all
still
on
a step
Geno
in the right direction.
For
to
sure.
your point, you're absolutely right. I was on New York radio.
What other
weeks
option
back,
was
pitching
there?
Kirk Cousins. So it's like Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith. It's the same. It's the same 9-8, 7-10 season, but it's at least some step, and maybe a third more full of the stadium in December for just the organization. Having said that, is there any chance, any chance, just because we're in New York and we got the tabloids, that he just, on a straight redemption, Bane in Gotham, goes ballistic from the worst interceptions to the best most clean sheets in the English Premier League, gentlemen, and they win 10 games again, and they get into the playoffs? No shot. 0.000.
Yeah, that's not something I would expect.
I just want to throw it out there.
It's not something I would expect, but
I will say, though, to your point, Ian, I expect Geno to play decent, right? I mean, C+ at B- level quarterbacking, to where, I mean, and that will be a step up, because as much as I thought Justin Fields could do something similar, it shows that he really needs to be in a system where he's like a running quarterback that can throw the ball every so often. Geno can play. I'm not saying he can play in any system, but he's 36 years old.
He's an adult. He's an adult.
He knows what he's doing.
He's Chris. I mean, I don't want to call him Chris Middleton on the Mavs, but it's like he's going to go out and get you 15 and 7 and 5, and you don't have to babysit him. It's like,
with Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator now, like, that's the type of guy with an offense, pocket passer. You just need a grown-up in the room, and that's exactly what Geno is. And for the people that are saying, well, it's going to ruin your tank, that's not how Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji and this regime are operating. Like, they're trying to show that they deserve more time.
So they're trying to win. Geno, to your point, you're getting him for $1. You're getting him for $1. What could be worse in New York Jets land than actually coming up on a serviceable 500 quarterback on a rainy day outside of last year? So Raiders are horrendous and their infrastructure is terrible, and he wasn't well coached and all of that. But when he's under decent coaching and decent infrastructure, what is he? He's a Pacific Northwest quarterback at his best. You saw his numbers. You saw his record. He can win a few games next year. He doesn't embarrass you in the way that the organization has been embarrassed in years past.
And people say, like, embrace the tank. Like, there has to be some level of respectability involved, right? Like,
this ain't the NBA, baby.
This isn't. No one is sitting here tanking from week one. Like, you should try to play. And then,
like, it's a total middle finger to the fan base if you trot out.
It is.
Especially whoever
Jets
out there
fans
week
who have been
one,
through everything. You've been through everything. You don't want to tank. You don't want to hear. Also, to the Jets' credit, they traded a couple of very big names in the middle of the season to do what? Do the smart reset thing and acquire a couple of what we said to bring it back to the beginning of the podcast conversation. Hope by getting draft picks for Quinnen Williams, etc. Sauce Gardner. Well, you got opportunity here, especially with an inexpensive quarterback, to put some talent out there.
Yep, well, and the last time, I looked it up and confirmed, the last time the Jets didn't finish third or fourth in the division and had a winning record was that year, the year of the punch.
And it's funny because you look at over the last 15 years or whatever since the Jets last made the playoffs, the few times that they've actually had sneaky good years and surprised everybody, you can point to years when that year and Ryan Fitzpatrick ended up being the starter down the stretch. It was great. And they almost made the playoffs, just missed. And then 2017, I believe it was, with Josh McCown as the quarterback. The point being, these years where you're not expecting anything from the Jets and they have some stopgap quarterback veteran as their starter, those tend to be the years that they overachieve. So we'll see what happens, but I'm at least
it's a really sad statement from a really suffering fan right there, folks.
Yeah, and overachieving years and years that they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, Ian's saying that this 2019 year 7-9 with Josh McCown.
Oh, that's
overachieving.
Tough. Hey, before we get into a fun game and all that, anything across the board that stuck out to you on the free agency side? Because I have one team that made a couple of moves I'd like to make mention of, because I'm going back in for more freaking punishment. I don't think any of you is ready for me to tell you where I'm going again for another year of punishment at the futures board.
Why are you betting on the Steelers?
Did you see what they did already?
Are you kidding me?
Dude, Dowdle, who made his name under a Mike McCarthy once upon a time 12-5 Dallas Cowboy team, and also Michael Pittman is nothing to slouch at, gentlemen, because if I'm Aaron Rodgers on, again, the Hollywood script saga of bringing those boys back for round 2 at the Lombardi Station, that's a step in the right direction.
Sure.
Any thoughts?
No, I have no thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers on March 10th, besides they're finishing third in the division.
You don't like Dowdle, you don't like Pittman. That's 2 huge signings, dude. They were abysmal at wide receiver and really lethargic at running back. Dowdle is a straight dog.
Kenneth Gainwell was the team MVP at running back last year.
Dude, Dowdle and Gainwell is so much better than Warren and Gainwell. I can't even say it enough. All of a sudden, you got 3 dogs in the backfield, and Pittman is your wide receiver that catches you 85 balls, and DK can F off a little bit and, give you a few games of superstardom where we all think that Candy did it. And, you let the defense be the Pittsburgh defense, and you win 11 games, 10, 11 games, and you're back in the same exact game again, except you win it.
Is the Pittsburgh defense guaranteed to still be the Pittsburgh defense, though, now that Mike Tomlin's gone?
Great question.
That staff's gone. Like, their defensive line coach.
My other thought I did want to throw out is I'm really, really disappointed in the Buffalo Bills for going DJ Moore and not going all out to get Mike Evans, because I don't think that Mike Evans signing is a small deal. Again, it's a championship wide receiver he's going to show you on a platter what I'm going to do for you. Catch double-digit touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, and at least 70 to 80 balls in pivotal games, rain, sleet, or snow, and that's just never been seen in Buffalo land. And I'm blown away that San Francisco made a move like that. I don't think it's a small deal.
I'm waiting for Buffalo to overpay for Trey Hendrickson.
I like that. I think
that's how this plays out.
All right. Any other last thoughts before
actually, about that Mike Evans thing really quick. To me, I like the signing. It's fine. Like, he's a great player still, but the fact that he's 33 years old, and they do this every year. They trot out George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, add Mike Evans to it, Nick Bosa, these guys who get hurt routinely, and then it's like the Pikachu meme where they have no idea what happened when they see their whole roster in shambles by the end of the year. It's like, this is what you do. You're paying and signing guys who are injury prone, and then you act shocked when they get injured down the
Mike
stretch.
Evans, look at his Jerry Rice record. It's like
Mike
he's
Evans,
not a...
He just got hurt last year.
I know, it's really tough to buy into that Mike Evans.
It was hamstring stuff, though, so
Also,
it's soft tissue that tends to not go away, especially at 33 years old.
It's just,
I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying, we also live in a really soft as it's ever been wide receiver league. Why can't he be Larry Fitzgerald in the last couple of his years in Arizona and just eat, because he doesn't have to be the focal point, because, again, he's just another big body in the paint on a well-run basketball starting five, which is really what the Niners are. They really messed up with Ayuk, and I don't think they messed up again. They went out and got something we know is a reliable asset.
Well, I ended on this, but what fascinates me about Mike Evans is the way he left Tampa, and then Todd Bowles saying, like, kind of his statement was not very, like Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer, and he's definitely a Ring of Honor guy. Like, he's a statue type of guy in Tampa, and it makes me wonder about Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield in the future of this Tampa organization.
Agreed.
With Mike Evans not retiring a Buccaneer.
That's a really bad look. It's a good point, because I don't think Brady has another ring without Mike Evans. I really believe that. I mean, Mike Evans was that good. You start to take a step back and you think about all the non-superstar years Brady didn't have one of those guys like Evans and what those numbers were that year. Special rapport. But to your point, really bad look for a Tampa organization.
All right, for today's game, I got you guys a list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, according to The Ringer. So they do this thing, they update it constantly throughout the season, throughout the offseason, of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They're all ranked, all stacked up. I will set a 5-minute timer for you guys here, and 3 strikes and you're out, so keep that in mind. Ready, set, go.
No-brainer, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick
Josh
Mahomes is number 1.
Go, Josh.
Ooh, and Josh Allen, no-brainer.
And Josh Allen's number 2.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's number 3. So you guys have the top 3 right off the bat, no strikes. Still 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go. So you're coaching.
Joey Burrow's got to be top 10.
Burrow's
Joe Burrow, no hesitation.
At 8.
Okay.
Wow.
If you had had Burrow at 4, I would be like, is this just a list from the start of last year?
Wow.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel good. Burrow at 8. Okay. So we got Burrow at 8. Stafford's on the list.
Stafford's at 5.
Do we put Darnold in there just out of courtesy? Due to just the timing here. All right,
There's better quarterbacks left besides Sam.
I'm all right with waiting on him, but it gets dried up real quick.
So we got Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. 4th was.
You don't have 4th. You have Matt Stafford, who's 5th, and you have Joe
Burrow,
who's
who's
8th.
Do you want to put Justin Herbert? Is this guy Ruiz a big Herbert fan?
I feel like he's an EPA stat dude. Probably like there's no tackles.
Because Hurts and Herbert are my next 2 thoughts.
I'm going Herbert over Hurts for sure.
All right, let's do Herbert. Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert's 4th. So you got the top 5.
Whoa.
Plus Joe Burrow at 8.
We're in good shape here. We got a couple swings here. We can. I mean,
if he's got, then I'm thinking now we're in the Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love category area.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Caleb Williams is in the conversation.
I think actually Caleb will be my next.
Let's do Caleb. I'm way down for Caleb. Caleb?
That's strike 1. Caleb actually just missed the list. He has him at 11.
Oh, maybe then we got to throw out a what's this hierarchy then here. Do we not go Jalen Hurts here? Martin?
I think if he has Caleb off the list, I have a sneaky suspicion that Jalen Hurts is not on this list.
Okay, but we have Purdy, Darnold, and Jordan Love to discuss. Unless you want to throw CJ Stroud as a 4th guy in that. Those are my next conversational. And Ian just gave us a tell nodding along here.
I think it would be either
maybe giving us a poker tell here. I'm just kidding.
I think that it was. I think the conversation, because we have 3 spots to fill, right?
How much
You
time?
have
How many slots?
4 spots to fill. You need
How much
6, you need 7, you need 9, and you need 10.
How much
You
time
got
here?
2 minutes left.
All right, 2 minutes.
I think
You
Baker
guys.
and Jordan Love are going to be on this list. I do. We both said Jordan Love. Let's go with Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is 9th.
Okay.
Great call. Huge. I could see him not having Baker, but I'm not going to be upset if we go Baker. But you really think Purdy and Darnold are not on this list?
I'm thinking about if he has Justin Herbert 4th, that's a tell to me. Like winning matters less. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like winning,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Winning matters
like
less,
that
and it's more about tools and
all right,
arm strength.
So then who sticks out to you, Baker?
So I would.
We don't have that much.
Let's
time.
go with Baker.
All right, Baker.
Baker is not on the list. He's actually not even in the top 15.
Okay.
Kind of surprising.
Oh, doctor.
Maybe
just
I'm
like
overthinking
that.
it. Do you want to go with Jalen as the last strike?
If this man does not have Jalen Hurts top 10, I'm gonna be ill.
I don't think.
I'm gonna be ill, dude.
Let's think. Is there anybody else that we're just missing that's obvious?
C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young.
No.
I mean, Jaden Daniels is another one.
Jaden Daniels is another one.
Do you want to go Jaden Daniels? You lit up there. We gotta go quick. Jaden or Jalen? Dak Prescott. We didn't even
You got
say
30
Dak.
seconds.
Give me Dak over
Dak Prescott.
Dak
Go
over
Dak
everybody
Prescott.
we just talked
Go
about.
Dak
And
Prescott.
he's gonna have Dak at 10, and we're not gonna.
Dak Prescott's 7th.
What? Yeah. Let's go. We need
right.
2 more or one
You're
more?
missing number 6 and you're missing number 10.
Dude, did we just say Jalen? The clock's running out.
15
Jalen.
seconds.
Jalen for the win.
Jaden and
Jalen.
Neither. So you
0 for
ended
2,
with,
right?
with 4 strikes. So the ones you guys were missing here, let me turn off the timer. The ones you guys
that's
were
hurtful.
missing, number 6, you should have got this one. It was Drake May,
See,
MVP runner-up. What do you mean C? It's the MVP runner-up. He's in the top 10 quarterbacks.
That's so gross.
Go ahead.
He's just automatically like it's not system and scheme and coaching and coziness of cookie cutter scheduling and not narrative of Boston. I mean, no one's allowed to throw. I mean, I'm ready to throw a coffee can across the room right now.
I'm
I,
saying this.
I hate the Patriots as
Drake
much as
May,
the next
6th
guy.
best quarterback.
If you have Drake May was in the. I'm not saying that Drake May wasn't a valuable player last year. I probably, honestly, would have voted him for MVP, even though with all of the stuff. I understand the argument for Stafford. But I will say this. How you have Drake May 6th and Caleb Williams off the list? I don't get it.
That's gross. What was the other one? What
Drake
was the
May
other
was
one?
the runner-up for MVP. Caleb Williams wasn't. So, I mean, that's
So
at least
this is
fair
so-
enough.
what was
the
the
other
other
one,
one?
you guys? 10th was Trevor Lawrence.
Don't get out of here.
So, the ones who just
not
missed
mad
the
at
list.
that.
You
I'm
guys
not mad at
met.
that.
You guys did your last-ditch effort with Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. Jaden Daniels wasn't even in the top 15. Surprising to me.
Wow. How quickly
Jalen
we
Hurts
forget.
was 15th. So he wasn't particularly close either to the top 10.
I think if you polled 32 NFL general managers and asked them, who would you rather start your franchise with, Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence? 22 of them would have.
I'm with you on that.
That's fair. But the other
At
ones,
least
12th was
bone it.
Jared Goff. 13th was
forgot about
C.J.
him.
Stroud, and 14th was where Sam Darnold ended up. So those were the other names you guys were tossing around.
Wow. Purdy nowhere near there. C.J. Stroud nowhere near there.
Yeah.
I'm not quite
Surprising.
saying.
I don't know. I don't agree
That-
with
that-
all
that
of
was-
it,
that
but the
was
Drake
one of the
May
more
thing I think
fun.
is very fair.
That was one of the more fun lists we've done. And it
glad.
seems
I'll look for more like it then.
so easy. It seems so easy that we
Well,
were
it
going to
started
get
out
that.
great. You guys at the top, 5. No strikes, but yeah,
It's just
it gets
it's
harder
crazy
when you
that we
need to
live
really.
in a world. Yeah, we live in a world where 6 through 10 is completely up for debate.